Live updates. The EPA wants to repeal a landmark environmental finding jeopardizing climate regulations. Let's go! Another huge acceleration win. Thank you, Chairman Trump, for delivering us from this endless fascist nightmare by bringing it all to a swift close. I was worried for a bit when NASA said the likelihood of that big meteor hitting Earth had decreased substantially, but now we have something else to look forward to. In a potential landmark action, Lee Zeldin has privately urged President Donald Trump's administration to reconsider a scientific finding that has long been the central basis for U.S. action against climate change. Zeldin called for a rewrite of the agency's finding that determined planet-warming greenhouse gases endanger public health and welfare, according to 4 people who were briefed on the matter but spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity because the recommendation is not public. The 2009 finding under the Clean Air Act is the legal underpinning of a host of climate regulations for motor vehicles, power plants, and other pollution sources. Guys, we're getting leaded gasoline back. This is the death of science right here. This is pretty bad. Yeah. This is the death of all life on Earth. Well, you know, maybe. Initially enacted in 1963, and they're talking about the 2009 addition to it, or not addition to it, I suppose, but the finding under the Clean Air Act. So let's see. Bush era policy. 2009 is Obama, actually. Where do we have this? There's recent approval in 2009. Well, leaving aside the particulars of the different amendments to the Clean Air Act, this could be pretty bad. Yeah, a huge number of environmental regulations that have been passed since then they've been predicated off of this. So their removal means wild that these people don't believe in climate change. Oh, they do. We know for a fact that they do. They do believe in climate change. I don't know if Trump specifically does. Lee Zeldin does. They all do. They just don't care. Yeah, they've been lying for decades about it. They don't believe the anthropogenic side of it. No, they do. They do. We literally know for a fact the oil and gas companies, the fossil fuel companies, we know for a fact that they have known that it is anthropogenic, that it is happening, and that it is anthropogenic for decades, and they have lied about it. They have lied about it. They've bribed politicians to lie about it, like clean coal. They've bribed Trump to lie about it. They've bribed scientists to lie about it. They've done everything they can. We know for a fact that they know they're lying. They just do not care. I mean, we'll see if this ends up happening. The fact that, man, so this is a private request that was made to Trump from Lee Zeldin, and 4 people who were briefed on it went to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. That's just one newspaper. There might have been other people who went to other newspapers. So something tells me, like, they were privy to this information, presumably staffers underneath Trump or Lee Zeldin who were privy to it or who were given information about the meeting or who were there to take notes. And afterwards, when the meeting ended, they were like, fuck. Like, ooh, like, you know? Maybe just a little bit less crazy than the people above them. It's actually really bad. It's really bad. Like, more so than you probably think. Yeah, gotta go take a leak. Sprints over to the Associated Press desk. Ugh. The admin's gonna have a lot of leakers. Well, yeah, first Trump admin did as well. So far, this one has as well. The crazy thing is that, like, from a business perspective, ignoring climate change is a bad idea, you know? So it's like Lee Zeldin might be an evangelist for the interests of the fossil fuel industry, which, I mean, he is. That's his job as the head of the EPA. But it's not really in the interest of a lot of these agencies to change. Like, imagine a lot of these companies have been advertising things like cars off of their lower emissions for a long time now. What are they going to do? Save 5 cents manufacturing each car? Look, now with 80 times as much pollution. And it smells really bad, and like it would be a regression technologically, you know, and it would cost more money to abandon the supply lines and the production processes that they've already gotten used to. I don't even know if short-term profits, I don't even know if it'd be incentivized short-term. I don't even know if that would be an improvement. Lee Zeldin is a fossil fuel lobbyist. Yeah. And he runs the Environmental Protection Agency. Favored by Trump because he's been a Trump sycophant for a while. Trump ally, prominently defended Trump during his first impeachment hearings concerning the Trump-Ukraine scandal. Lost the election to Kathy Hochul for governor of New York. But he got a consolation prize. Kathy, I don't care and I'll never remember. Anti-LGBT rights, that's to be expected. In 2014, he expressed doubts about the severity of climate change. Introduced the Fluke Fairness Act. Oh, alongside Chuck Schumer. Wow. Did not support the Paris Agreement. Pledged to reverse New York State's 2015 ban on hydraulic fracking. During his confirmation hearing for EPA director, Zeldin stated that climate change is a real issue and needs to be addressed. That's great.
I believe that climate change is real, as I told you. As far as President Trump goes, the context that I've heard him speak about it was with a criticism of policies that have been acted because of climate change, and I think that he's concerned about the economic costs of some policies where there's a debate and a difference of opinion between parties.
I would respectfully disagree with you. I think he has called it a hoax time and time and time again. And I would just say for the record that, and let me ask you this question, all right? Some of us have used the word existential threat. Would you describe climate change as an existential threat, meaning that there must be an urgency to get our act together, to address it?
Senator, we must, with urgency, be addressing these issues. And today, as we talk about any way at all that the EPA can do its part to make sure that our air and water are cleaner, healthier,
staying on
safer.
one, look, EPA has enormous responsibilities over an enormous number of areas. I'm focusing on picking up what Senator Whitehouse said. I worry very much. Do you have kids?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. I worry. Many of us have kids. We have grandchildren. This is serious stuff. This is beyond politics, my friends. This is the future of humanity.
Meanwhile, over here in the real world, from Washington Post, who I'm told is a very reliable source of information, at least with respect to this. Okay, it's called the endangerment finding. I wish the AP News blot had said that. Oh, look, see? Remember when I said that people went to AP News, but I bet they went to other sources? According to 3 people briefed in the matter who spoke in the condition of anonymity. So, okay, 4 people went to AP News, 3 people went to WAPO. I wonder what the full distribution is. How many people went to Reuters? Like, breaking news! Everyone's gotten this leaked information because it's insane. The endangerment finding cleared the way for regulating greenhouse gases under the Clean Air Act by concluding the planet-warming gases pose a threat to public health and welfare. Okay, yeah, that's what we were referring to. Gotcha. So yeah, basically, Lee Zeldin is telling Trump to authorize the repeal of that endangerment finding, so that legally speaking, the EPA does not recognize that greenhouse gases are a threat. The Obama-Biden administrations used that determination to set strict limits on emissions from cars and power plants. By repealing the endangerment finding, the Trump administration would be taking one of its most consequential steps yet to derail federal climate efforts. The administration's blocked work that is central to international climate research and barred federal scientists and diplomats from attending a major climate event in China. EPA officials weighed whether to reverse the endangerment finding during Trump's first term, but opted not to do so. Well, they're a little bit more bold this time. Conservatives have argued that repealing the finding is critical to unraveling what they see as burdensome limits on emissions from various sectors of the economy. Literally, how much does it even cost them? How much does it even hurt them? $2. On the first day of his second term, Trump signed an executive order that tasked the EPA with reviewing the legality and continuing applicability of the endangerment finding. The order gave Zeldin 30 days to submit recommendations to Russell Vaught, head of the White House Budget Office. So they're probably going to go through with it. They're going to repeal the endangerment finding. Ugh. Trump announced plans to cut EPA staff by 65%. I mean, it's like, what's the point of keeping them around anymore, right? Like, what are they going to do? EPA will lose 65% of staff, Trump says. Agency officials said the cuts would make it impossible to carry out their mission. That is the point. I think we went a little too hard on the accelerationism. Trump, pump the brakes. I'm sorry. We don't need to accelerate this hard. Please. Mandy Gunasekara, who served as EPA chief of staff at the end of Trump's first term and wrote the EPA chapter in the conservative Blueprint Project 2025, has been advising the administration on repealing the endangerment finding, according to 3 individuals briefed in the matter. Nobody's responded to requests for comment. It's time for other countries to hold the U.S. accountable, right? I do think that the United States should be met with apocalyptic sanctions from every other country that can do so. Yeah, I do think so, yeah. Not even like in retaliation. I mean like punitive sanctions. What we're doing is arguably more damaging to the planet than Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and Russia got sanctioned into oblivion. Not even for the invasion, but for the annexation of Crimea and the separatist pseudo-invasion in 2014. This is inarguably worse than that. Allies of the fossil fuel industry cheered the idea that the administration would revisit this issue. They unfortunately didn't do this in the first term, so I'm pleased to see they're working on this in the second term, said Tom Pyle, president of the American Energy Alliance, an advocacy group for the oil and gas sector. Yay. You know, it's actually insane. Car companies save more on that carbon tax credit program than if they were to abandon it and become pollutant now. Well, don't worry. We're still gonna have a carbon tax credit program. It's just gonna be the more greenhouse gases your cars produce, the more credits you get. They're just going to reverse the incentive structure. Sean Donahue, a lawyer who has represented environmental groups that support the endangerment finding, said he thinks any repeal effort will be struck down given the robust body of scientific evidence on the dangers of planetary warming. Do you? Do you think that? Does that matter at the moment? 65% reduction in the EPA. Hold on one second. Pew Research. How many Americans believe in anthropogenic climate change? Well, that's grim. 5%. 63% expect climate impacts to worsen in their lifetime. So 2/3 expect it to get worse. But how many believe it's anthropogenic? Because that's the important part. Folks don't know what that word means. I don't care how it's phrased to them. 74% say the U.S. should participate in international efforts to address the issue, and majorities support a number of specific policies intended to reduce the effects of climate change, such as providing a tax credit to businesses for developing carbon capture and storage tech. Of course, that's the one they go to. Only about 1/3 of Americans think climate scientists understand very well whether climate change is happening. An even smaller share say climate scientists understand the causes of climate change very well. Oh, that's unfortunate. 78% of Republicans are suspicious of the groups and people pushing for action. 58% of Republicans are annoyed there is so much attention to this issue. Jesus Christ. Fucking a party of nothing. You're just running up fossil fuel sycophants and... I like that's what their line is, too. It's not even like, is it bad or anything? It's, is it annoying that purple-haired climate protesters keep talking about it? Develop some real fucking problems, okay? When your shit-ass Florida second retirement home sinks into the sea, I will not be there for you. We need infinite and unending punitive sanctions directed at the United States. It's the only way.